Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tuesday, September 4th, 2012. Welcome to the Sports Blitz. I'm your host, Daniel Fleming. It's been a long wait, but college football is finally back. And this week, I'm going to preview the Week 2 matchup between Alabama and Western Kentucky. But before we get to that game, I just want to take a brief look back at the Alabama-Michigan game, which, of course, Alabama won 41-14. It was a very impressive performance from Alabama to start the season. They played well for the most part in all three phases. Of course, as we all know, Nick Saban, the head coach of Alabama, is a perfectionist, and he is, going to look at the things that, can be corrected from that game. And one of those is that, Alabama had 7 penalties. And so I would expect Nick Saban to address that, in practice this week. And, like I said, he's constantly looking for ways to improve. And it was, like I said, a very impressive performance by Alabama, and it'll be interesting to see if they can follow it up this week against an opponent who obviously a lot of people are going to overlook, in Western Kentucky. But, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a preview of what to expect from Western Kentucky in their matchup this week against Alabama. Western Kentucky, their nickname is the Hilltoppers, and they play in the Sun Belt Conference. And in their first game against Austin Peay University, they won 49-10. And the main player that Alabama needs to be aware of for Western Kentucky is their quarterback, number 6. His name is Kawan Jakes. He's a senior, and he has a lot of experience. And he was very impressive in Western Kentucky's opener. He went 18 for 23 passing for 296 yards. He had 5 total touchdowns, 4 passing and 1 rushing, against just 1 interception. And another dangerous player to watch out for Western Kentucky is number 5, Antonio Andrews. He's a junior. He is a running back, and he's also an outstanding punt returner. As a matter of fact, he ran a punt back 70 yards for a touchdown in Western Kentucky's season opener last week. And Western Kentucky has a very big offensive line as well. Their smallest offensive lineman is 291 pounds. So they obviously should be looking to take advantage of their size up front. It'll be interesting to see how they match up with Alabama's defensive line. Now, one glaring weakness that Western Kentucky does have is the kicking game. Last season, they went an abysmal 5 for 20 on field goal attempts, and they missed all 3 of their field goal attempts last week. So that's a glaring weakness, like I said, that Western Kentucky has. So it'll be interesting to see how they do this week against Alabama. And I thought Alabama did very well, like I said, in their opener against Michigan. Their secondary play, was good for the most part. They did give up a 70-plus yard pass play to Denard Robinson in the Michigan game last week. So that's something, that I'm sure Coach Saban is going to address. But I do think there's a lot of talent, in Alabama's secondary. Robert Lester is a very good player at safety. And then Dee Milner, I thought, had a good game for the most part against Michigan last week. So it'll be interesting to see if Alabama's defense can get a pass rush, first of all. And if they can, then that's going to make the secondary's job a whole lot easier. So hopefully Alabama, will be able to do that this upcoming week against Western Kentucky. And I thought Alabama's offense showed a lot of balance. A.J. McCarron, I thought, had a very solid game. He had 199 yards passing against Michigan. And most importantly, he threw 0 interceptions. And that's the one thing that we always have to look at, with quarterbacks, is whether or not they're managing the offense and taking care of the ball. And A.J., has done a very good job of that in his career at Alabama. And I thought that the most positive thing that we could take from the victory against Michigan is the running game. Alabama has 4 running backs, that they're going to use on a regular basis. And T.J. Yeldon, number 4, a true freshman from Daphne, Alabama, had an outstanding game against Michigan in his first career game, I might add. I mean, he's an absolute stud. And I really think that as time goes along, he's going to develop and be the next great running back to go along with Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson, who did well for Alabama in the past. Of course, Mark Ingram won a Heisman Trophy and Trent Richardson will finish third in the Heisman Trophy voting last year. So I really think that TJ Yeldon is going to be an outstanding collegiate player. And, of course, Eddie Lacy, number 42, is an outstanding running back himself. And assuming that he can stay healthy, I think he's going to have a really good year for Alabama as well. So that's about it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the Alabama-Western Kentucky game this week. It comes on Saturday at 2:30 on the SEC Network. For those of you along the Gulf Coast, that's WJTC Channel 44. So like I said, I hope you guys enjoy the game, and I'll see all of you next week.